All right, guys, so we'll jump in here with the FAQs for Chapter 7, the rubber band reversal trading strategies. All right, so we talked about 5 unique setups for trading the rubber band reversal, right? The stocks that are super extended either to the upside or the downside and trying to catch that reversal. So I want to make sure I answer any of the questions that you guys have on this strategy. And remember, tomorrow we're going to be talking about reversals and shorting as well as it pertains to trading parabolic stocks. But and on those stocks, we will trade rubber band setups. We'll also trade a couple of others. Okay, so let's see. Let me jump out of this, and I can move this up and start answering questions for you guys. So there was a question of if I trade Forex or cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or anything like that, and the answer is no, that I don't. Um, I never have. So, it's kind of like I mean, there's so many different places in the market where you could be a trader. I mean, you could trade Forex, you could trade futures, you could trade commodities, you could trade gold, you could trade silver, you could trade, you know, I mean, it's just almost limitless. And so, because of that, find your niche, find your spot in the market where you're consistent, where you can be profitable. And you know what? That's all you have to focus on. You can have a whole career on that. I mean, you can talk to guys who spent their whole career trading, oil commodities. I mean, that's their career. That's what they know, energy commodities, stuff like that. You have guys that and gals who have spent their whole career trading, Forex. I mean, you can find one spot in the market and then make that yours. So my spot is trading stocks, price usually between $1 and $10. Let's see. Daniel, in chapter 10, class 10, I will give you my hotkeys that you can import directly into DAS Trader. Yes. Hopefully by the time you guys are watching this recording, the hoodies will be available. Probably have a link on the dashboard. Let's see. How do you set up profit targets in in short trades with hotkeys? Carlos, you would just go into the hotkey manager in Fantasy Stock Traders. Go to the hotkey manager, and then you could add a new hotkey. And what would you be doing? You would be buying to cover. You could say it's a limit order, and you would be buying, when the price hits a certain level. So you could say when the bid, and this is maybe 25% of your position, when the bid hits an off, 20 cents below the current price, so that would be a 20-cent profit target. 20-cent profit target. You can adjust these however you want. They're super easy to adjust. You can log in, go to the hotkey manager. If you'd prefer your hotkeys for, shift 1 instead of 1,000 shares is 100, just type 100 and say save, and then save. And yeah, Rachel, generally 10-cent stop, 20-cent profit target, 30-cent profit target is realistic. Sometimes it can be, a little bit more or a little bit less. The fees in the simulator are per share. So we did that because that's similar to the way ShareTrader's fee structure is. It's also similar to Interactive Brokers, and you can trade per share at Lightspeed and SpeedTrader as well. Ronald, the reason people put that, it's called cash tag, it's used on social media. So people that types the money $sign and then the symbol, you can go search for that symbol using the money sign. The scanner is a Trade Ideas formula, so it works in this platform. So you would need a subscription to Trade Ideas in order to use it. Since we work really closely with Trade Ideas, we have a discount coupon code that you can use. It's Day Trade Warrior 15, all capital letters. if that doesn't work and you're watching this recording months from now or whatever, it's possible it changed, but you could email us for the latest coupon code. I think on AFSI, the reasons that prevented it from a proper bounce, um, we can pull this one up. Let's see, AFSI. I mean, I think it was just generally very weak. Um, it had an opportunity to bounce, and instead of bouncing, it just went sideways. So it just showed that the imbalance between the buyers and sellers was staying on the side of the sellers, just sideways at the lows. That's a bear flag. You know, when a stock pops up and goes sideways, it's strong. When it drops down and goes sideways, it's weak. And yeah, definitely still breakout or bailout with the reversals. You want quick resolution because you're trading against the current, you know, against the trend. Right. I mean, yeah, I think you could use a $5,000 account to trade just reversals and slowly grind up to 25,000. Your gains would most likely be smaller, so you would have more, it would be a longer drawn out equity curve. You wouldn't have, you know, those quick spikes that I get from $5,000 or $10,000 winners, but you also probably wouldn't have as many big drawdowns. Although, you know, even as I say that, the risk of trading against the current is that you get into a stock and it does suddenly drop 50 cents or a dollar. And I have had that happen on reversals, especially higher price ones that are $50, $60 a share. When they go the wrong way, they can drop fast. So, you know, that's, I mean, no strategy is 100%. So, you know, those are some of the losses can be a little bit bigger. That's why I think trading momentum would be is a faster way to grow a small account. Bollinger Bands work on all time frames. I only use them on the 5-minute time frame. Daniel, I get out on the ask anytime a stock is strong. If it's moving up, if it's showing strength, I sell on the ask. If it's weak, if it's, you know, we see selling, it's not holding up, I just hit the bid and bail out. So, Corey, the reason I'm more cautious, like yeah, and AFSI, you know, a short on this one right in this area, like around 10, was good because it was consolidating. Um, but you know, to me, it's like this is not the typical setup for momentum. You know, it's a higher price. It doesn't have the same relative volume. It doesn't have the gap. So yes, you could short it, but and it's not a bad setup. I mean, in this case, it worked really well. But then, like the one we were looking at on QCOM, and I think it was BIG, we had another one as well. I can't remember what it was. Those ones didn't work out super well because there weren't enough people interested. So, you know, that's the thing I'm not sure. You'd have to see if you found consistency there, then, you know, you might be onto something, but you want to make sure the stock has relative volume. And with this stock, I mean, we could check actually. Let's see if there was something driving this stock, a catalyst. I think if you're going to try to trade momentum with the trend, you want to confirm that there's a catalyst. So we'll pull up Market Watch here and see what the headline might have been for that one. You know, the thing with the rubber band snapback is that as soon as the trend shifts, there's this natural gravitational move back to equilibrium because we were so stretched out. With momentum, it's not really a gravitational move to go back up to high a day. You know, it needs something to drive it higher. So let's see. So AFSI. So there was news on this today at 9:30 a.m. So there was news. There was a catalyst. There's a couple different headlines on this. There's a lawsuit against them filed, it looks like today, a class action lawsuit. So this is a better one when you have that type of catalyst to think, okay, if it does pop up and consolidate at the moving average, we're probably going to get a bear flag, right? The opposite of the bull flag, the move up to the moving average, to the 9, consolidation, and then down lower. And Tyron, yeah, only after the first 30 minutes would I take these types of trades, past 10 a.m. And Rachel, yeah, usually, selling half at the 20, selling another quarter at the 9, another quarter at the 50, selling into moving averages. The average for me, I probably am 90% to the long side. I'm not sure if TraderView gives me that stat. I can log in and check. Um, let's see, we'll log in here. But I would say like predominantly 95%, 98% to the long side. I really don't short that often. Um, let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think here if they have that. Trades by duration. I'm not sure if they have. Let's see. Oh, maybe I could just do side long versus short. Generate report. So, okay, it does have it here. So let's see. All right, so side long versus short. This actually doesn't look like it's populating exactly the right stats. This must be, oh, you know what? This is my trades from last year and this year. So it's showing from last year included and this year $330,000 in net profit from long side trades on a total of 962 trades. And I've taken 46 short trades and lost 600 bucks in the same period since in a year and a half, basically. So if that tells you where my bias is, that says, well, I mean, that says 4%, 5% of my trades. That's exactly, let's see. Well, it's 900 and, no, it's 1,008 trades and 46 are short. So 95% long bias. And for good reason. I don't make money when I short, apparently. Maybe I'll get better at it. Yeah, Ilya. Yep. Dion, so I know you like buying bull flags since you're buying at the pivot point, the apex with support. Do you ever look for dip buys at support? You mean, no, in the sense that I just buy a stock that's dropping down thinking it'll hold support. I don't do that. I wait. I don't buy stocks on weakness in that sense when they're selling off. I wait for them to come back up for the apex point. If that's what you mean. Christian, we're going to release an update tonight that might, I think if the issue that you have is that your hotkey manager is blank, it just means that you don't have my preset hotkeys in there. Yours got cleared out. So I'm going to give you an update tonight that you can install tomorrow or later tonight, and that'll reset to my default layout. Yeah, Rachel. I mean, essentially, that's the basics of this strategy. The first candle to make the new high after 5 or more consecutive candles. You can't be long and short at the same time, so you always would have to close out your short before you go long. Day Trade Warrior 15. Yep, you got it. Volume is not critical for reversal stocks because if you have that extension, then that's what we're looking for. So it's not as important. Um, with that said, if the volume is really, really light, it's not going to work super well. So I rarely would trade under 500,000 shares of volume, and I'd prefer over 1 million. We don't have any discount right now for TC2000, unfortunately. So, Sanjeev, what I said that I would do differently is I got in that trade at 41 or 42.34. I would have gotten in it at 42 at the whole dollar. And if I had doubled, I doubled at 42.50, my average would have been 42.25 instead of 42.45. So I would have had a 20-cent better average. With 2,000 shares or 1,500 shares, it would have been a better I would have made more money. So a better entry. No, the scanner is just for US and Canadian stocks. UVXY made a big move at the end of the day because the SPY made a big move. So here's the SPY selling off. And then you have the VIX, the volatility index that we talked about. When this is fear in the market. The fear is going up as the market is selling off. So when the market drops, fear goes up. What's UVXY? UVXY is ProShares VIX short. This is literally sorry, it's not short term. This is the ProShares VIX. SVXY is going to go down because it's short the VIX. So that's the reason this went up. Now, often we'll see relationships as well with gold going up when the market goes down, because some people move into commodities during tumultuous times. So these are some of the relationships that we see with commodities in the overall market and with the fear index in the overall market. So if there was a day when the market dropped 500 points, would I look to take a bottom bounce on the SPY at $235 a share? No, but I would look to take a short on the VIX or take a long on SVXY. Right? I would look at one of these for the reversal. So I could use another instrument. So in that sense, these are derivatives because their value is based on the value of something else, but that also makes them really a complicated thing to trade. Chart patterns mean nothing when it's a derivative. When the value is based on the value of something else, looking at this chart isn't going to tell you much. You have to look at the chart of two things. You got to look at the chart of the SPY, and then you look at the chart of this and you say, okay, well, if that's doing that, then I expect it to follow. But then there are times where they also diverge. The market will go down, but the VIX is flat. So it's very complicated. And that's why I don't have any strategy based on trading the VIX or commodities, because there's so many relationships that impact them. Small account users on a budget, I would suggest using, well, depends on where you're going to trade with real money, but I would suggest using TC2000 for your charting. And level 2 will come with whatever broker you use. If you use SpeedTrader, you'll have level 2. If you use SureTrader or TradeZero, you'll have level 2 with them. So yeah, TC2000 and SureTrader, that works, yep. Gary, sometimes when I hit the hotkey to get into a trade on the ask, my order doesn't get filled and I miss my entry. So the way I combat that is if the ask is 83, I put my order at 84 or 85. That's the best you can do. If you still don't get filled, I mean, you could put your order at 86 or 87, but I mean, how high do you want to get filled at? You want to get the best entry. Trading server status disconnected. All you have to do is log out and log back in, and that'll fix it. 9 times out of 10, that fixes it. Um, I'm about to subscribe to, I think you meant eSignal, to familiarize with the platform, and I have a question. Does it run on Mac? I don't think it does, but I'm not 100% sure. And we don't have discounts with eSignal anymore. We used to, but they were bought out by another company. So now you have to call them, and their sales team over the phone will give you discounts for signing up for like 3 months. It's kind of like the same as, if you sign up for AT&T or something. You call them, and you'll get a better deal than you get on the website. Yes, Mario, reversals not to be confused with a red to green setup. A red to green setup is just, I mean, a red to green setup is a momentary reversal, but sometimes I'll have traders email me or mention in chat. They'll say, Ross, they might say something like, like right here, how does Cali look for a reversal, like right in this area? And I'm like, okay, we've got a couple issues. Number one, we don't have 5+ consecutive red candles. Number two, the stock's not at low of day. I take reversals when stocks are at high of day or low of day, not in between range. Because in between range is a loose rubber band. You want the rubber band stretched out. That's when you want to get in it. So not like this. You need to be at high a day or low a day. Now, if someone said, Ross, does this look like a top reversal up here? I would say you've got the right idea. We just don't have maybe enough consecutive candles, although it did end up working. Armando, for a student that want a built-in account using SureTrader, what is a realistic amount to open that account with for the gap and go momentum strategy? So I obviously started with $583. That was really hard because I only had 3,000 in buying power, 500 times 6. So I would say at a minimum 2 to 3,000 would be good because with 2,000 you'll have 12,000 in buying power. 3,000 you've got 18,000 in buying power. So you could utilize some of that buying power, knowing the risk, of course. You could get in, take 2,000 shares, 3,000, get 10 cents, you make 200 bucks. If you can do that consistently, $200 a day, that's $52,000 a year from a $3,000 account. I mean, that's an insane return. So I think I don't see any reason why that's not doable once you've first proven you can maintain those metrics. When using the scanner, will you be able to use it in the paper trade account as well? Well, the scanner is simply a scanner. It doesn't connect to any account, so it just runs here giving you ideas. So you can trade off those ideas in the simulator or with real money. It's totally up to you. Yeah, I agree, Chase. I mean, $170 a month for charting is kind of a luxury. When you get to the point where you are, making some profit and you want to upgrade, then maybe it's worth it. Thinkorswim is also a good way on a budget because it is free. That's true if you fund an account with them, but you have to go through the process of signing all the agreements. If you're international, you may have some issues because it's a foreign account. I mean, it's opening an account. You're just not putting much money into it, maybe only 100 bucks. But if you're going to use it for a year, you'd save 500, right? So it could be worth it. And yeah, I mean, I used my where is it? I think it's my Mac is in the closet now. I mean, I haven't opened it in a long time. I think the last time I opened it was like spring this time of 2016 because I had some tax stuff on it for 2015 tax year. So I switched all over to PCs. I grew up on Macs. I loved Macs. I think I had one of those LC3s. Does that sound right? Long time ago, and I was always happy with my Macs. I loved Apple. I didn't like Windows, but when I was doing the work in New York City, AutoCAD, which is the software you use for like architectural drawings and stuff like that, engineering, that's on Windows only. So that's when I started using a Windows machine. And I was like, okay, this is easy to use. I like it. And then I had a Mac and a PC laptop, and a lot of the trading software was Windows only. So, you know, when I got a new computer, it made sense to get a Windows computer. I know Jeff for a long time was running boot camp on his Mac, but he was having some problems with it and finally said, I'm just going to get a PC. And I think he's been really happy with it. Um, let's see. And also, yeah, so I would say $2,500 does make sense. Um, so Gary, I think I answered that question already. Um, I use the $99 a month package with Trade Ideas. That's the package right here, just the standard. That's true. Thinkorswim is also good for news, and I think you get a free subscription to what is it? Benzinga. Hey, that's awesome. $239 is solid. Lesson 5 is uploaded. Lesson 6 from yesterday is still transcoding. That'll not be ready until later tonight. David, like I said yesterday, I've been trading, during my time mostly in a bull market. So I can't say with 100% certainty what it would be like if we experienced 1 or 2 years of downward markets. But I can tell you that what you have to do is you watch the crowd. You watch the collective trading group. Where do they go? Are they going for short setups? Because that's where you'll see the volume. So you follow the volume around the market. It'll move. It'll go. If it moves, we'll see where it moves to, and we'll follow it. Those are the stocks that'll present the opportunities. Those are the stocks that will adhere to the patterns that we typically look at. The bull flags, the flat top breakouts, because those are the stocks that will have the most traders watching them. Good broker for international traders. Interactive Brokers is super reliable. They allow very large. I mean, they have make $1 billion a year. They're a really big firm. Second, TradeZero commissions are super super low. Um, and then third is SureTrader. Those would be the three that I would consider. Internationally, you can also look at Lightspeed or Speed Trader if you have a $30,000 minimum. Montage is another word for level 2. I don't know who came up with that, but yeah, it's another word for level 2. Yeah, Fantasy Stock Traders gives you shorts of anything you want. So if you're basing your strategy on a short strategy using Fantasy Stock Traders, it's not going to be totally realistic. Yeah, that's true. You know. You can change the time range. I think you have to open a new chart, but we're fixing a couple things in the simulator. One of them is going to be to allow you to change the time frame. But you can see on this one, let's see, I can change it by going over to here, 5 minute or 1 minute. Yeah, that's right, Mario. Um, am I moving my stops in the middle of a trade? Do you mean like how am I choosing where to put my stop, or how am I actually doing it? I mean, the way I'm actually doing it is just by canceling the order and then putting out a new stop. The price I'm using for the stop is usually the high of the last 5 minute candle if I'm short. The reversals, I kept putting my stop at the high of the last candle, high of the last candle, high of the last candle. If I'm long, it's probably the low of the last 5 minute, low of the last 5 minute, low of the last 5 minute, or using the 1 minute, depending on what time frame I'm entering on. If I'm getting in on a 1 minute chart, I'll be using the low of the last 1 minute candle, most likely. You need 30,000 minimum to trade with Speed Trader, so I guess it's Sure Trader. I would trade reversal strategies maybe once a week at most. I took 46 short positions last year, so, or in the last 18 months. So, I mean, it's less than one a week. And if I had to trade one, I would trade bull flags because bull flags on momentum stocks give us better resolution, bigger moves, quicker moves, and bigger percentage gains. Yeah, currently, and I'm kind of mindful of, what I say about current promotions because they always change. But we do have rebate programs right now with four different brokers. We have brokers who've been asking us to do them. I mean, these things are always happening and changing. But we do have one right now with Trade Zero that you guys can check out. That gives you a $1 per trade rebate, up to the total cost of your course. And they each have different expiration dates, so you have to check the rebate program page for each one of those. And SureTrader will never be able to offer it for American students, U.S. students, because of the regulatory restrictions against it. It's not because they don't want to, it's because of the restrictions. You can program hotkeys in Interactive Brokers if you use the DAS Trader installation. So you can go to Interactive Brokers and say, I want to use DAS Trader, and then you can use the same hotkeys that I use. Well, I wouldn't trade after hours, but if we have a pre-market gapper, I will look at both the pre-market chart and the after hours chart basically as just one chart. So this has after hours and pre-market together, and I look at the whole thing. I think the short trades are riskier because of the fact that you short 10,000 shares of a $3 stock. How much are you down when it goes to $90 a share? Right? I mean, you're down, you're losing $10,000 for every dollar it goes up. So even though 10,000 shares of a $3 stock was only $30,000 worth when you first got it, by the time it's at $6, you're down 30 grand. By the time it's at $9, you're down 60 grand. By the time it's at 12, you're down 90 grand. If you buy 10,000 shares of a $3 stock, you put in $30,000. The most you will ever lose is 30,000 if it goes to zero. So your max loss is predetermined because you've bought. When you short, your max loss is infinite. Not that any stock is going to go to infinity, but you know, if it went up a lot, the loss could be pretty big. So the reminder there is DRYS. And how many traders do you think, how many careers do you think ended on DRYS? Traders who had $1 million accounts who said, I can short, I can short, I can short. I can just short higher, short higher. And next thing you know, it went from $2 to $100 a share. I mean, they might have been right that it was going up on nothing and it would come all the way back down, but unless they can remain solvent through that move, I mean, that's the problem. Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of traders I'm sure lost their accounts. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to rub it in anyone's face if you had a loss on it. I actually didn't even do that well on DRYS, and I was out of my office for these 2 days. I was in New York City. Ugh. st I'm still annoyed with myself for taking 2 days off in the middle of the week. I never do that. I mean, I never do it. Probably in all of 2015, I don't think I took a single day off of trading. In 2016, I took off like 4 days total, and this is what happened on 2 of the 4 days. Yeah, right. Roberto took 3 days off. I know. I was talking to John about that because I know you took 3 days off, and they were like three of the best days in the last in the in like the month of March. I felt bad for you because I was thinking that those 3 days, I think I made $10,000 or $12,000, and then we went right back to being slow. And it's the luck of the draw sometimes, but you know, the market will come around. I mean, it will. It always does. So um, you don't want to get too bummed out. I think DAS Trader's probably like 120 bucks a month or something like that. The market takes days off for bank holidays, things like well, New Year's Day, Christmas Day, President's Day sometimes, um, Columbus Day, Labor Day, Memorial Day, stuff like that. I think there might be like 15 bank holidays each year that the market's closed for. There are some half days also where the market closes at 1 p.m. And half days are really strange to me. It's also strange because it throws off options. If you're an options trader, having the market, I mean, it's weird. But anyways, we don't really trade options, so don't need to worry about that. Yes, you can leave an order in Fantasy Stock Traders until the next day if you prefer, if you want to for some reason. Yeah, Good Friday's off, so we'll have, when is that? That's in a couple weeks or week and next week into next week. So I don't know if it's a half day or the whole day, but yeah, that's on the 14th this year. All right, guys. So, I think that definitely today's class is a little bit, a little bit of a step back from yesterday's class. A little bit. I think the concepts are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's a shorter class. We'll get into class 8 starting tomorrow for those of you attending the live sessions right now, and I think that'll be a good class as well. It's again be more along the lines of 2.5, 3 hour long class, which is more reasonable. Class 6 was essentially two classes put together because it was the momentum strategy gap and go, and then it was the momentum strategy high a day strategy. So and I think probably the next time I teach it, I'll be splitting it over the course of 2 days again. So, anyways, so that's the game plan here, and I will see you all first thing tomorrow morning in the chat room, and tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Right here for Class 8. All right, so that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.